Accept. What do you put in your bug out bag? Well, today I wanna show you and give you some ideas by looking through what I use as my main bug out bag. This is a Kashka trekking backpack. It has an internal frame. It's very durable, which is handy for long and maybe even rough bug outs or hikes. So, what I shall start with, open it. On the other side, I always keep the things that I probably gonna use the most. So, what do we have around this? Around the waistbands, first, a multi-tool. Always handy when you have to do little tasks that you can do directly. You don't have to go through all your bag. So always keep the multi-tool close to hand so you don't have to go through all your bag. Next, a tourniquet. Always keep the tourniquet close on your waistband or something where you can grab it directly, because when you're wounded and time is of the essence, you cannot wait. You have to apply it immediately, preferably something you can reach with both hands so you don't depend in case you are wounded on one of them. So always keep it at hand. What you also can do is you tape or put it with some elastic around the shoulder straps, so it's always nearby for direct use. That's also a possibility. Some gloves in case it gets cold. A metal canteen for water. I always keep this in reach, so I don't always have to put my bag down to have a drink of water. And yeah, I always opt for metal bottles because it may be a little bit heavier than plastic bottles or even aluminium bottles, but it's durable. It can also be used to boil water when when you're lost or don't have a filter. So always take a metal bottle in reach. A rain poncho. This is also important to keep directly for use because sometimes the rain can just drop. In the time you go through your bag, get it out, open it, you may be already wet, which can be dangerous during a bug out situation. You don't want to get wet, you don't want to get cold. It can be very nasty and very dangerous too for hypothermia. So always keep this on your back for direct use. You can open it. What I like about this military style ponchos is you can put it over you and over the bug out bag. Even this beast of a bag, I can put my poncho around it and I stay dry. Yet again, medical appliance. Israeli bandages. I always keep it on the waist strap. You can, like the tourniquet, or instead of the tourniquet, put it on your shoulder bag or close by for direct use. I prefer this one than the tourniquet because this is more likely to use. The tourniquet is just as an example or to be sure. You never know what will happen. When it's time for a bug out, anything can happen in my opinion. When you go that far, always be prepared for the worst. So now we're gonna open it back. I will start with the underback around here. This is a head lamp. It's a lamp you put around your head That is, you can just use a flashlight, but I always keep this in my bug bag. Why? Because your hands are free. When you have to crawl over certain points, when you have to perhaps defend yourself in the middle of the night, when you have to go into a dark building and you need both hands to do some things, this is a very good way to do it. Um, you can put a little dynamo or a power bank or some little travel sun panels to charge this back up. But for a bug out situation, usually it's about 3 days, and in my opinion, that's usually enough to use it for the battery life to use once. So until you have to recharge, of course. So that's the next thing. A good knife. Never underestimate a proper knife. There are a lot of knives on the market, but in my opinion, a Glock knife has been the best knife so far. It's thick. You can how do you say it? Make it sharp. You can sharpen it many times because it's very thick steel, durable steel. It doesn't rust that easily, but I always put some oil on it to be sure. It's perfect in balance, so you can even use it as a throwing knife. In what situation? I don't know, but it's just a fun option to do when you're bored. It also has some sawtooth around the edge, so you can saw through some thick branches. You can. It's very sharp. Depends on how you sharpen, of course. The the thing that you hold with it, I cannot come up with the name, but it's very durable. I can hit things with it like a hammer, still not broken, still not split. So this is, in my opinion, one of the best knives you can buy. Next, this is two things in one. It's a sleeping bag and a tent in once. Why do I put it in my bug out bag? Because a regular tent is too big for one person. In my case, you can use a two-person tent if you are with more people, but I don't know yet who comes with me on my bug out bag, so just a sleeping bag tent. It's very low profile, little bit camouflaged, easy to put on, and you can, in a hurry, you can put it back together and go away in just a few minutes. That's what I like about this thing, because danger can always be around. Sometimes you have to evacuate because maybe the owners of the property or some dangerous criminals or people you don't want to meet are around where you try to sleep. So you can go away in a hurry with this thing. Now we're going to open the main frame on the back. So, first, the things I use the most, or I probably need the most, I put on the top of the bag. Usually it's also the lightest things. So, first of all, a shamak. A shamak has 1,000 uses. Always put one in your bug out bag, no matter what sort of bug out bag it is. Like in previous videos, you can use it to keep warm, to dry yourself off, collect dew for drinkable water. You can use it to hide your identity, to as against smoke, sand, or dust particles to breathe. Yeah, you can use it as an improvised hand warmer, or to put around your foot. You can use it as a sling when you have a broken arm. Yes, many uses. Always put a chamois in your bug-out bag. A water filter of the Katadyn Hiker Pro. This thing I always take because it's very handy. You can, even when the river is very low, it's you can put this down and you can still pump water from it. You don't have to risk to get on the slippery edge of the river or the mud so that you don't get stuck or dirty or fall in the water, which is you don't really want that. So I really like that. Or in small holes to get water out. Never let me down, never got sick. Just remember, the filter is not forever. Be sure if you plan to use this often that you guess when you have to replace the inside filter. So that's the filter. Alright. Emergency radio. It's not really necessary, but it's very handy to take on a bug-out bag. This thing, I can listen from Belgium, I can listen to radio from France, Germany, England, even Italy. As I believe one time Spain, but I'm not sure about it. So it has one hell of a reach for such a little thing. It has solar panels. You can recharge it. You can recharge batteries or your phone or your headlamp with this thing if you have the right cables for it. It has a little light on it. Very handy to listen to the local news, to know what's going on, where are the trouble areas, what are the authorities doing, or where are the evacuation points. Such information is very important to know when you're on a bug out. So I would recommend to put one of these emergency radios in your bug out bag. A first aid kit. And never underestimate the importance of a first aid kit. This is a bigger one, has some more bandages, some more alcohol, because I don't know what can happen. The alcohol can also be used for making fires or even bartering when you're desperate enough. So just the regular things, some fishing lines, purification tablets, duct tape, and some of the basic tools and medicines for first aid. Next, to be honest, this is a alarm revolver. It doesn't shoot. It only shoots blanks. Why would I take this? Because when I have to run, when I have to evacuate with my large bug-out bag, and I don't know when I have to come back, then shit would really have hit the fan. Then it's probably more likely that there are dangerous people walking around, even for desperate people who are less prepared. This I can use as a deterrent because it's, to be honest, it's much safer this way. You cannot accidentally shoot somebody down and start to have real problems. I would use this more as a deterrent. Even the most hardened criminal will hear a shot and they will not likely to go close. So just a blanket pistol revolver in this case. So depends. It also depends on the laws of your country. So check your local laws of your area if you can carry this around. When I test my bug-out bag, I always leave it out, just in case I get stopped by the police or something. So I don't have anything illegal. So be very careful when you think about putting something like this in your bug out bag. Next, this suitcase is actually some when you have to go away, it has some cash in it. It has gold bars in it. Why gold bars, would you ask? Because cash can be useless when the situation is so bad that you have to go on a bug out situation. Probably if it's very chaotic, money can devaluate, or people can ask higher prices for stuff because it's not as much in stock or something else. But with this, you can also, if you have to go, if you have to be a refugee, you have some of your value at the same value as you bought it. Like gold, is a way to keep your money valuable. It's lightweight, and because it's from an official piece of gold, you can calculate the value of it if you want to trade it or bargain with it or cash it in another place for real money. You cannot do that with just a golden ring because people will just say, it's probably that even if it's less. So be sure to put the information, official information, on the golden bars. It also has a few ammo for the blank guns. Oh, almost forgot an important thing. It also has some microchips. Why? On this thing, in my bug bed, I cannot fit all my official papers, like documents, acts of my home, of my insurance of my car, all the papers, my bank, my identity, my all the papers that you need to settle somewhere to be safe. I always take a picture and put it on the ship. Also, some uh, photos of my family, my loved ones. I can put these to just have them because real photographs can break, can get wet or something else. So put your chips in a hard case so they don't get wet, and all the information you need. Make a picture of it and put it on this. Next, this is a woolen bivouac mask. Open up. Always go for real wool when it's cold or when you're going to sleep outside. You can put this on and your head will stay warm for the mostly. And because it's of wool, even when you sweat a lot or when you're wet from rain or something else, this will isolate the heat on your head or body. So always handy to keep this in. The same woolen socks, in this case very durable, thick socks. It's all handy to put for when you're going to sleep, so you can keep your feet extra warm, or when your socks are wet and you can change them, hang your wet socks on your backpack while walking and wear dry socks instead, so you don't get blisters on your feet. Very important to keep your feet in good shape, because your feet will help you to go to your bug out location. Yet again, a flashlight, just to be sure for when my headlight would break. This thing has a dynamo on it, so I can always make electricity. It has a SOS function. It's not the brightest light, but it's durable, and I can recharge it whenever I want it. So it's very handy for close things I have to see. Not really for walking around in the night, but everything helps. Right. Next, a saw. This is just a little hand saw. You can clap it open because you will see later for my stove. You're gonna need wood, or you're gonna make a shelter, and you have to go to thick branches. Even with the knife, it would take a long time. So a light saw goes a long way. to go through the deep branches, thick branches to, I'm sorry. A live straw filter, like I showed in one of my early videos. You can use this to, it's more like a backup instead of drinking straight out of a source, because I usually just pump filter water, pump it in my container. But this is just a backup for if I lose that or my filter is broken of my Catalin Hiker Pro filter. So, lightweight and cheap alternative. Some paracord. This one is still in the package, just to keep it dry, just in case I need it. This has, what does the package also say? 15 meters of rope has this thing. So you can always use rope. Right. Next, a little shovel. This thing, just a small shovel. It's very light. You cannot do heavy digging with it, but you can dig a little, a small latrine, or a little trench, or a pit for your fire. You can even hack some durable ground, or ground that is open, hack it and shovel it back away. Always handy to have in your backpack bag. Some people opt for entrenching tool, but this has been sufficient in the many times I had to use it. Like you can see, still has some dirt from the last use. This is actually the canteen for my water bottle, but because I don't want to take it always out, I put my socks and my underwear and some working gloves in this thing, just to save space, keep it dry. And when I need to cook you will see in a moment, my coffee or food, I can use this. You can put this on the fire or make some tea or some coffee, just to get some warm meals, or boil water in it for when your filter don't work. Next, this is a woolen blanket. Most people would just put a sleeping bag in their bagot bag, but I love this thing. This thing is made of wool. Even when it gets wet by sweat or by rain, it's still isolated from, keeps insulation from for the body, even when it's wet. This thing has saved me a few times during very bad rainstorms, or even a small flood when my tent got underwater. This thing kept me, even when I was wet, kept me warm through the night. It's maybe a little bit heavier, but it's worth the wait, I say. But that's just my opinion. Everyone his own choice. This is where I keep my source of fire. It's a BioLit stove. This thing, you can put it right here. Put it like this. I don't know if you can see it. I think it's too low. This thing, when you put something, when you burn something in, like wood or small branches, it starts to create heat. The heat will drive this thing on, which drive a little ventilator, which does two things. One, it blows oxygen from below, and so your fire will burn efficiently and keep it burning. So with little wood you can cook or boil many things than you would with a regular fire. The next thing is This also has a battery, so you can load or charge your electric devices while you're boiling or cooking. So that's why I love this thing. Uh, what I also like is after in the beginning it makes a lot of smoke, but when it starts to burn efficiently, this thing gives almost no smoke. So it's very handy when you don't want to get spotted. Although in the beginning it gives a lot of smoke, but after a few minutes this thing will leave no trail behind. You can cook in low cover, to say. So that's why I like this. And now we get to the food. What I put in it is just some, I don't know the English word for it, but it's coffee. Coffee powder. You just put it in. Most people, a real coffee drinker, won't like this, but it's freeze dried. You can. It's dry in this package. It has a lot of energy, so easy to make. Calories, energy, get you to your destination. Next thing, a bag of rice. This is 2 kilos of rice. The bag, I put it in another bag to keep it dry, just in case. But this thing will give you energy for a whole month for one person, if you're efficient and ration it. That's why I keep the rice in it. Easy to make. It will be a little bit bland to always eat rice, but is a perfect source for your bug outs. Next, food item. 2 emergency rations. This thing you can use in case you want to share somebody who needs help. You can give a package to them so they can live a few days on it. I always keep 2 in it because it also has the nutrients you need. Because when I go for a very long hike, I survived 4 days on this one package, and I could still go through with it. So what I also like about this is you can powder it, mix it with water, and then it's also handy to give it to children, so to small children actually, and also to people who are hurt and cannot chew food. Also handy, very handy for such situations. It has this thing has 2,375 calories divided in 9 bars, which is also handy because you don't want to get one bite and the rest leave it to rot. So very handy. This bag, just some few trinkets, some tea, emergency blankets. The emergency blankets you can use when it's cold, or to get the attention, because it's very big, yellow. It can draw attention of rescue groups or something. It has soap without glycerin, so you can wash your body and you can wash your clothes while you're on the way. Very handy for when your clothes get dirty. It's multifunctional. This is just some salt to put on the rice or to make food less bland that you find on the way. And some worker gloves, because you don't want your hands to get wounded while cutting wood, making a fire. Your hands will help you to your destination on a safe way. This bag has just some few things. Honey, in case somebody is diabetic or needs some quick energy on a healthy way. Strings, nylon, wire. This is a lot of wire, lightweight. You can use it to make shelters. It's very strong, actually. So it's a very good choice to put in your bug-out bag. Just some utilities to eat: a knife, spoon, can opener, fork. Just you don't want to eat hot rice with your bare hands, I imagine. This is a little sewing kit, some needle, some thread for when your bag or your clothes gets teared. A fire kit. I always keep it in a metal case. It has matches, a whetstone to sharpen it, some a sparkle starter, some fire steel, I think it's the English name, and a lighter, actually 2 lighters. So always different ways to make a fire. Last, not last, but last of this bag, candles. I always use these small tea candles with a whole packet. Why? Because you have lights for several hours when you're going to sleep. You can build signals with it, and it burns efficient because I don't like big candles. Why? Because it's always burn in the middle and there's always something on the side. These burn whole. You can leave it. There will nothing will be waste. Efficient for the weight that you carry around. And it's also handy to make fires. I always start a candle, and with that candle I start small pieces of wood and build my fire with that, so I don't have to lose matches or use some other means to start a fire. Very efficient. I would recommend it always. And I think that is the last thing. Maps. I always keep them in plastic bag so they don't get wet. These are paper maps because I always have the bad luck to get bad batteries when I have a GPS. I don't have internet on my phone, which is also a good possibility when you're on a bug out situation. So paper maps. These I have 4 maps which are of whole Belgium, general map, maps of streets, and maps of the biggest cities, just in case. Doesn't weigh a lot, and that's about it. That's what I personally keep in my bug out bag. Don't forget, this bag is made for my environment because I live in Belgium. We don't have that much nature, so it's not really fit for long. You can use it to camp in the few woods that we have or on the meadows, but there are a lot of towns, there are a lot of cities in Belgium, a lot of people. I will not survive in the wild because there is not enough nature to do such thing, and in a bug out situation a lot of people will have the same ideas. So that's also why I carry so much food around, because I know I will not find enough when all the other people start to look for it either. So that's my bag out bag setup. I hope it gave you some ideas, will help you for in the future. See you in the next video. Thank you for watching.